to say? Welcome to Po Boys? Just pulled up to the shop, going to work on the drift car some more. And whoa, buddy, trying to break into the shop here? What you got going? You think he's a snapper? Let's hope he's not. What's going on, bud? Dude, I don't know why there's a turtle here, but there's a freaking turtle here. So do we let him in or what? Ah! He's a snapper. Holy shit. Oh yeah, don't want him near. He's a snapping turtle. All right, I'm just trying to open the door. I just want to get into the shop today. He's going to attack again. Yeah. I just want to get through the door, bud. Ah, dude, that's aggressive every time. Well, welcome to Louisiana. We got snapping turtles. Oh my gosh, dude. These things are freaking not nice. Why are you chilling right here? Freaking get out of here. Stop doing that. How are you jumping so high? This right here is the 450 that y'all know of, but you saw from before, it needed some tires. Actually, very, very bad. In fact, Arkansas was a slippery event because there was no tread on the tires. So we got some brand new Pirellis on this thing, and they should make some traction. I'm gonna go ahead and see if it starts. Like always, you gotta kick it just a few times. It's not like hard, but just cycle it over to get the stator with some electricity in it. Ooh. 3 kicks after like 2 weeks of sitting. Kind of gnarred up the ground. Uh-oh. That is how you properly break in a set of dirt bike tires. However, I do have something to say. I went in for a wall tap, actually front bumper tap. You see my track right here? Perfect, perfect. Look at this right here. Put some tire on the car. Did not do anything except for literally put rubber on the car. Did not scratch. Let's see if it'll come off. Exterior detail. That looks like it. White diamond is the move. Paper towels. Spill a cup of water, soak it up. Paper towels. That's actually really freaking impressive, to be honest with you. I've never done that before, never thought about doing that before, but apparently do a burnout on your car, it'll do pretty good. That's amazing, it didn't even scratch. If you want to wall tap your front bumper of your car with a dirt bike tire and it's got rail on it, it might just hold up, which I'm actually really surprised because for a peelable coating, that thing held up very well. Obviously, you just saw the drift car do that sick burnout. You know what these are right here? This is a hydro handle. This is gonna be an e-brake, which will let us basically initiate slides. It's time to put one of these on the drift car after all this time of waiting. So you're gonna need yourself a hydro handle. You're gonna need some parts like lines and everything like that. This is all -3 AN, a few fittings. I'll explain that a little bit later. You obviously need another set of brake calipers, but when you have so many cars, you just stack these things up. So I've got a stock set of brake calipers that came on the drift car when I got it, extra set of brake pads, and Max Speeding Rods decided to send us out another product, which is going to make the drift car way better because this is a built 8.8 differential cover. This has girdle guard in there right there. You can tighten these up against your diff, and what it does is it actually adds a little bit of stiffening and strengthening on there. You can see how thick this is. This is going to make sure everything doesn't have any vibrations, which reduces things breaking. Comes with hardware and it's ready to go on the car. Thank you very much to Max Speeding Rods. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get going. We're gonna remove this here center console. We have the hydro handle right here. I'm not running a stock e-brake, so I don't have to worry about that. I'm gonna pull this out of the way, but I'm thinking we're gonna put it here in this area somewhat, probably move it a little bit back. Might have to cut out a few things in here. We just want it mounted in there pretty solid. There's 1, 2, and that's all I have holding this thing. So this right here is the e-brake. What we need to do is take that out. There's 2 10mm bolts, which I already took out. Here's the stock e-brake line. I'm not using a stock e-brake on this car. I'm not worried about it. I've got blocks of wood. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this with some dikes. Tanner, is it possible for you to get me some dikes?
No.
cut that out, not have to worry about this heavy piece of material right here, and we can mount up our hydro. So what I'm gonna do is get this bracket inside of here just like this. Actually, see if we can't fit that thing inside of there. If we can, then that would be dope, and if not, we'll cut some more. Let's go. Well, that's unfortunate. Yo, Tanner, did you by chance grab me a razor blade? How? How does that happen? The piece of plastic literally bent and freaking cut me. I've literally been messing around with the razor blade all day, and literally the piece of plastic's the one that cut me.
Chop turtle. He's shy right now. Give him like an hour. He'll be fine.
We've got this bracket somewhat in place, so I'm gonna go ahead and tack it in its spot. We test fit it for the last time now to see if everything will fit now that we've got it tacked in its place. Yes, sir. That's gonna be perfect. All I gotta do is cut out this spot right here. Now I can weld the rest of this thing up. So let's go ahead and get this bracket installed inside of there and get it done. Ladies and gentlemen, so if you look down here, there's a bracket that I made and I cut out just enough. I also welded bolts on the other side of this, so that way we don't have to tighten these. These are gonna stay in their spot, never move ever. And the hydro has 2 holes in it, so those will slide right above, just like that. And they're in their holes. All we have to do is put a nut there and a nut there, and those will be in place. It works really well. The fitment is good. This is 5th gear, that's 6th gear. And then the hydro is not in the way at all. There's definitely a good enough amount of room between both of those gears, considering this is in 6th all the way over. And then if I go way over to reverse, it's even still not in the way. So the fitment right here is going to be great where we put the stock e-brake. So now this hydro is in there. So now let's go ahead, run the lines, and get the rest of the hydro on there. You're going to need some AN lines to attach everything. Fitting, which is a 3/8-24 fitting to 3AN, because I'm running 3AN lines to everything. This fitting goes directly into the hydro. I actually had to wait 2 days to get this fitting because I didn't remember to order it. So don't forget that on yours. I bought a 3N male-to-male adapter just because you don't know if you're gonna ever need to make a new line or an extension. We also have a 3ANT. Let's go ahead and get started with the AN line system and get that ran to the back of the car so that way we can be good. So what we have here is the new fitting that I just picked up, the 3/8 one, and we're gonna see if that fits inside the threads of this thing. It does. Awesome. That is great to know. So I took the center console off and I have a crush washer installed on here, which is just a copper washer, which basically provides a gasket surface. Go ahead and tighten that on the hydro. And that guy is tight. So now we have a fitting on there to adapt it to our 3AN line right here. So now we got to go ahead and take the diff cover off. We got the brakes off on each side, so the axles are ready to come out. So all we have to do is pull out these 13 mil bolts and the diff cover will come out. On this last bolt right here, I'm loosening it just a little bit to break it loose, but leaving it on there. Now I can break this cover off. There she blows. And diff fluid released. Get that last bolt off, let all this drain out. All we gotta do is take out the C-clips and then the axles will be coming out. And out with the old diff cover. We're not gonna be installing this back on the car, and that's because we have the MAXPEEDINGRODS built one, which is going to do us way better than this tin piece of junk that comes stock on these things. So we're gonna have a lot of reinforcement and this thing's gonna be super strong. It's like one of those things that you get at freaking O'Reilly's. You know, spin it to check what oil it is, but this is the real version of that. There we go. There's that bolt. Sick. There's that pin. I'm gonna keep this in a sanitary spot. Go move these up to the bench, take the car out of gear, and then I'm gonna rotate that whole rear end assembly so I can take out the axles. C-clamp is out. Now if we go over to this side of the axle, this is my axle. Let's go. And that's out. So that releases this right here. This is the brake bracket. And then once we take these 4 bolts off, we're gonna put the SCOTIDI dual bracket on there, and we'll be able to have a set for the hydro right here and a set for the stock brakes right here. It's gonna be freaking mint.
Stop doing all these mud burnouts. Everywhere.
Hey. So we have the C-clip out of this axle right here. Let's go ahead and get the brake kit on here. We went ahead and did the other side already. One brake caliper here. This is gonna be the one for the hydro. This is gonna be the one for the stock brake. I'm gonna show you how I did it over there. So first off, we can pull that U-bolt off. And then now we have some 9/16 bolts right here. There's 4 of them that keep this bracket on, and I'm gonna take all of those off real quick. I'm gonna use the big impact for those because it is really big. Or those bolts are on.
It is.
It's in fact the big impact because those bolts are really, really tight because it's obviously the brakes. So the factory puts them extremely tight. So big impact it is. Let's load up. Blah. And that is 4. This stock single caliper bracket is off the car. More stuff that we can take off and replace with very nice billet pieces. So let's go ahead and slap that thing on. So this is the dual caliper bracket right here, and I've shown you all this before. The bracket for one brake is gonna go here, the bracket for the other brake is gonna go here, and it bolts in directly like the piece we just took out. So like I said, it is really freaking easy. You tighten them back down to the factory specific torque of that bracket is on there. So first I'm gonna take this harmonic vibration dampener or whatever the heck this thing is and install it back on the car because I don't wanna have any funny sounds whenever I'm drifting. So I'm gonna leave this loose for now, and this will be the last thing we tighten whenever we put the stock brake caliper back on. So now we got this axle dude back in, and since we have that bracket on, you can't remove this bracket without removing the axle, so that's why we had to do that. But now the axle is going back in. There we go. And now she's back in her spot. Go ahead and put the C-clip back inside of it. And there that goes. Tanner, if you can go ahead and pull on that. There we go. And now she's locked in place. We can put the pin back inside of her. There we go. Now we spin it 180. I got this 8mm bolt back inside of here, and it has a ton of blue Loctite on it, so it should be doing good. We shouldn't have to have any issues with it. So I got the AN lines attached right here on the end of the brake. That is the adapter right there, and this is the line that is going from the hydro itself. So we connect that right there, screw it in place. Now we have complete brakes. You can kind of see what it looks like, and the line's out of the way. We're gonna zip tie on that control arm over there so it never touches the tire. I got it zip tied to that control arm. That goes right through the stock e-brake line areas. I used a 4-foot, 4-foot, and then 2 2-foot AN lines to connect. You probably could have done that in an easier fashion, but we connected all that. We also bled the system. So there is pressure on this thing right here, and it locks up the brakes very well. So we have e-brakes. Now let's go ahead, throw the tire on this thing, put some diff fluid inside that diff. All right guys, so now we have the hydro installed in the car, and I'm gonna go ahead and try it. I'm gonna give it a good yank, and if we slide and the back end goes a little bit, then we know it's working. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. So it's moment of truth. Let's see if the hydro works. So we went ahead and got the hydro working on the car. There's something that I've been wanting to do for a really, really long time, and that is these Cobra bezels right here that go inside the Cobra bumpers. They haven't been inside the car for the longest amount of time. So we need to slide them in, but we can't really get them in without bolting them on. So we need to take the bumper off, which I have zip ties, some dikes, and just 2 little buttons. Ian, if you can grab that other side. We got Ian here helping out. Thanks to him, shout out Fit Garage. Oop. So there that goes. So I've got 2 Cobra lights right here. Jared told me a long time ago these always crack, so we're gonna see how long these last, well, especially since I off-road. So we're gonna see how long these last, and if they don't last, we'll just see what a better option is, but I do have some LED cubes that we might retrofit one day. But until then, these go in. There it goes. All this dust has been on here for so freaking long. It's gonna look so much different now that it finally looks clean after it's been sitting in the shop for all this time. We haven't washed it once, so we're gonna see what it looks like after it gets done being clean. This white diamond stuff just makes everything come off like it was hot butter on a hot knife.
So do you pre-warm the butter, or does the knife make it?
You pre-warm the butter and you pre-warm the knife, and then you pre-warm the bread as well. That's how easy this stuff makes it for the stuff to just fall off. Hey, it's not mad dirty. So, thank you very much for freaking watching this episode. We have the drift car clean. We have the hydro installed. All the little nitpicky things done. We have the lights in here. Y'all can finally see those now that the car is clean. This thing is looking freaking great. She is super nice and clean, and I'm gonna leave you off with this right here. Power steering. stay tuned for the next video. Thank y'all very much. Remember to freaking send it. Be great.